We will have to embark on a process that must lead to the fundamental and radical socio-economic transformation of our country. We are not oblivious as to the actual reasons behind President Zuma's unfair treatment by the judiciary. Having overseen the adoption in 2012 of the Radical Economic Transformation Agenda as the second phase of our national democratic transition, meant he led a direct assault on white monopoly capital. And for this sin alone, a smokescreen has been created to characterize him as the most corrupt, when none has laid a winnable case against him in any court of law. Instead, a fishing expedition to find some wrongdoing was instituted by the former public protector Thuli Madonsela and supported by the High Court to illegally and unconstitutionally impose a commission of inquiry into state capture to find some wrongdoing. If those alleging President Zuma broke any law and have any evidence, they would have laid a charge instead of conducting an expensive and useless commission of inquiry. The current super exploitative capitalist economic model that only serves the interest of the rich few and even devours the small black middle class, whilst plunging the vast majority of black poor into ever-deepening levels of despair, will have to be uprooted and replaced by a socially responsible, inclusive, and indigenously owned and controlled economy that will serve the needs and interests of the majority of of Africans in particular. Apologies. Thus, we have to be unequivocally clear that the stranglehold that white monopoly capitalism has on our economy, literally squeezing the last drop of blood out of the black poor, has to come to an urgent and immediate end. And this is the prime seen by President Zuma to believe that change must happen. Let us not beat about the bush. White monopoly capitalism and the parasitic black comprador capitalist that enables the continued exploitation of our people are our main enemies. They must be declared persona non grata. Their removal from power and continuing control over our economy and lives is non-negotiable and cannot wait a day longer. It is our revolutionary mantra for which we know many of us will be charged through conjured up smokescreen allegations. The mishandling and abuse of the COVID-19 pandemic to repress and exploit the majority of black poor South Africans even more is unforgivable. The whole-scale looting of COVID-19 relief funds, which was meant to provide relief to the poorest of the poor, have reached depths of depravity. For as long as they remain in power, the suffering and exploitation of the majority of black people and South Africans will continue unabated. South Africa has a leadership crisis across the board, yet only President Zuma had to carry the sins of all such failures and is accordingly crucified. Some in the clergy are failing to rein in their counterparts who abuse religion for their own self-enrichment. Yet such leaders focus all their energy in condemning President Zuma. The Chief Justice warned us about a judiciary that is being captured, yet there is no commission of inquiry in the capture of the judiciary. High levels of inequality persist, which goes against the text and spirit of our constitutional order. Yet the government has not decisively stated what needs to be done, except to allay fears for investors into an economy that serves white monopoly capital. In this regard, the following demands are crucial. President Zuma must be released immediately, and all the legal targeting and persecution that he has endured, including the sham of an arms deal case, must stop immediately. The mines and key strategic industries and means of production must be nationalized. The South African Reserve Bank must be nationalized. A state bank must be established without delay. And our national banks must be focused on specific areas of industrial development. Several black banks must be established through easing their entrance into the financial service sector. Similarly, the insurance industry must be unlocked for the emergence and ultimate control of black players. There must also be mining beneficiation based on the principle of mining at home and manufacturing at home. Overall, the stranglehold and control of white monopoly over the wealth of our country must be broken. This includes fighting real estate capture by white oligarchs and a handful of their white families. The stringent COVID-19 lockdown regulation must cease because they are being abused to repress freedom of political expression and freedom of speech. The BRICS alliance that has been neglected and decampaigned under the Ramaphosa government must be resurrected and strengthened. Rural development must be prioritized. This must be done along the lines of the radical transformation of the ownership of the agricultural sector in order to ensure that it is black, especially African controlled and owned. The immediate and full implementation of the resolution of the 54th National Conference of the ANC for the expropriation of land without compensation. A living wage for all public sector workers, especially the police and nurses. All SOEs must be protected from being privatized, and those such as SAA that have already been privatized and sold must be renationalized. Overall, quality and decolonized education, vocational training, and employment must be guaranteed for all of those who are willing and able to work. In pursuing these demands, we are uncompromising in our objective to do away with the compromising sell-out CODESA settlement that has left the indigenous people of our country hungry and mired in poverty, degradation, squalor, while promoting white privilege and the continued control of white monopoly capitalists over our country and economy. We are therefore uncompromising in our commitment to address unemployment, mostly of young black people. This scourge of unemployment was caused...
And so we come out of the Free Jacob Zuma campaign.